In this video, we are going to see about time domain analysis of control system. Previously, we have seen about introduction about control system and its types of control system and application. Open loop control system and closed loop control system are the two major types of control system. First, we will see about open loop control system. It is a control system where its control action only depends on input signal. It does not depend upon its output response. That we call it as a open loop control system. So for example, we will see the diagram here. Here we have one input and which is given to the controller. From the controller, the output is control signal that is mentioned as U of t and the input is mentioned as R of t. That U of t goes to process what we are going to implement, that we call it as a process or plant here. So that is for that plant, input signal is U of t and output signal is C of t. So there is no feedback loop in this open loop control system. Therefore, whatever input we are giving, according to that, the output response will be produced. Then we call it as a open loop control system. So some of the examples are here. First one is traffic signal and washing machine and bread toaster. Like this, many examples are there for our open loop control system. And advantages is its design is very simple and it is easy to construct. It is very economical and it is very easy for maintenance also. It has a high stable operation. And disadvantages of open loop control system is its result is not accurate and it is also not reliable when the input or system parameters are variable in nature. That means we can't use this for our variable applications. It can be used only for our fixed systems. Okay? And the recalibration of the parameters are required then and there. Every time we have to take a calibration process. We have to do the calibration process. And next we will see the closed loop control system. So closed loop control system is actually defined as where the control action is dependent upon both input signal as well as output response. By seeing the block diagram below, you can able to understood we have so many signals here. First input signal is mentioned as R of t and error signal that is mentioned as E of t, which is given to the controller, and controller will produce one signal that we call it as a control signal, which is given to the process or plant. That output we call it as a output response C of t. Here, if you watch, you can able to see feedback path for our closed loop control system. Right? So from the output, we have one feedback path which is given to the error signal. Okay? Which is given to the, that means which is given to the comparator. Okay? So the comparator job is to compare the input signal and the feedback signal from the output. So that feedback signal is passes through feedback path which is called as V of t. Okay. The input signal and output signal compare together and it will produce one error signal that we call it as a E of t. This error signal only gives to controller. According to that error signal, the controller will manipulate and gives output as u of t, which is given as an input to the plant. Okay. So this process is continues till input and output are stable. Okay. So here we will see some of the examples for closed loop control system. First one is automatic electric fan and missile launcher, speed control of a DC motor. These are some of the examples of closed loop control system. Next, we will see the advantages of closed loop control system. First one is it has more accurate operation than open loop control system. In open loop control system, we have seen that it is not accurate. right? So that is overcome in our closed loop control system. So here accuracy is more compared to open loop control system. It can operate efficiently when the input of the system are invariable in nature. Okay. So that also one of the disadvantages in open loop control system. We can't use it for our variable operation, variable application. We can't use it for uh, use. We can't use it for say open loop control system, but in closed loop control system, we can use this one for our variable applications, and it has less non-linearity effect of this system on output response, and it has a high bandwidth of operation. There is facility of automation. That means we can go for automation process also because it has a feedback loop. So once our input and output are desired, we can we can go for our closed loop control system. It will match according to our reference input and output by using comparator and feedback path. Okay. And it required uh, time to time recalibration of the parameters or not required, which is mentioned as disadvantages in open loop control system. And here we have only one disadvantage, that is the system design is complex and it is difficult to construct. Here, I have shown the some of the comparisons points between open loop control system and closed loop control system. Uh, it is the control system where its control action depends on both of its input signal and output response. According to that, I have given the comparison here. First one we will see about open loop control system, and next we go for the closed loop control system. First one, open loop control system. First point, no feedback is given to the control system. And the second thing, cannot be intelligent, right? There is no possibility of undesirable system oscillation. That means it will be in oscillations condition, and the output will not vary from constant input provided the system parameters remain unaltered. And the fifth point is system output variation due to variation in parameters of the system is greater than, and output vary in uncontrolled way. Sixth point, error detection is not present. Right? There is no comparator, no, so there is no error detection in that open loop control system, and it can be used only for a small bandwidth. It is more stable and affected by non-linearities, and it has a very sensitive in nature. System design is very simple compared to closed loop, and it obviously if system design is simple, it will be cheaper only, right? So these are the points for our open loop control system. From this comparison also you can add a few more advantages and disadvantages for both open loop and closed loop control system. And now we'll see the closed loop control system. Okay. So first point, a feedback is, we can give a feedback path to the control system, and it has an intelligent control action. Closed loop controls introduce a undesirable system oscillation. In the system, the output may vary for a constant input depend upon the feedback. And next point, system output variation due to variation in parameters of the system is very less. Error detection is present. It can be used for a large bandwidth. It has a less stable or instability due to prone. Okay. It's not affected by non-linearities, less sensitive to the disturbance, complex design, and it is costly compared to our open loop control system. Once the design is complex, it will be uh, costly only. Next, we will see about the transfer function of control system. The transfer function, it is defined as the ratio of Laplace transform of output signal to the Laplace transform of input signal, assuming all the initial conditions to be 0. Okay. So let us take a example here. So we have one input signal that is mentioned as R of t and output signal C of t. Then its Laplace domain will be, that means Laplace transform of this input and output signal is mentioned as R of s, and output is mentioned as C of s. By seeing the diagram, you can able to understood clearly. Here I am giving the input signal as R of t, which is given to the transfer function, that is g of t, and output is called as C of t. The same diagram which is represented in terms of Laplace domain, that is input signal is R of s, it is given to the transfer function, that is g of s, and the output signal is nothing but C of s. Right? So this is the difference between transfer function with Laplace transform and without Laplace transform. And the transfer function of the given block diagram, which can be derived as g of s is the transfer function of the system. It can be mathematically represented as g of s is equal to output divided by input. Here output is C of s and the input is R of s. It is at 0 initial condition. Here we have the sum of the properties of transfer function. First one is 0 initial condition. Next one, it is same as Laplace transform of its impulse response. Third one, replacing all s by d by dt in the transfer function. The differential equation can be obtained by using d by dt only. Next one is poles and zeros can be obtained from the transfer function. Next, stability can also be obtained by using transfer function. It can be applicable to linear system only. And next we will see the some of the advantages of transfer function. So it is a mathematical model and gain of the system. Okay. By using the transfer function, we are going to calculate the gain of our system. Most probably, we are using in the entire control system syllabus. We are going to discuss only about closed loop systems only. For that, we are going to discuss about a first order system, second order system, response of a first order system, and the response of a second order system. And by using this transfer function, we are going to calculate the gain, and we are going to see about the by using transfer function, we see the rough criterion and various plots such as Bode plot, Nyquist plot, polar plot, like that. So for all this problem, we are going to see by using transfer function only. Okay? And replacing s by d by dt in the transfer function, that is the same point which is repeated here. That is differential equation can be obtained. And the next advantages is poles and zeros can be obtained by using a transfer function. Next, stability can also be found out by using a transfer function. Next, impulse response will also be found by using transfer function. And the next thing is disadvantages of transfer function. It is applicable only to linear system. It is not applicable if initial condition cannot be neglected. It gives no information about the actual structure of the physical system. And next we are going to see about block diagram algebra. Here we have basic definition for this block diagram model. It is defined as, it is a pictorial representation of cause and response relationship between input and output of a physical system. Okay. So in the first image we can see that block diagram has input and output. There is a block diagram representation of a system, and the second image, it shows that block diagram representation with gain of a system. Right? So previously we have seen that is input signal is R of t and output signal is C of t. For that Laplace transform function is R of s and C of s, and the output transfer function which is represented by G of s is equal to output divided by input. In the same manner, by using the same concept, we are going to derive the, we are going to represent the block diagram algebra also. So here input is mentioned as R of s, and transfer function is mentioned as G of s, and the output is mentioned as C of s. So the output of this block diagram algebra is given as the value of input multiplied by the gain of the gain of the system. That means C of s equal to G of s into R of s. That means the output is multiplied of gain, multiplied with gain. Okay? The output is multiplied with the gain of our input. Okay? So next we have another one representation in block diagram, that is summing point. Okay? So it is a component of a block diagram model at which two or more signal can be added or subtracted. So in the below figure, you can see input signal is R of s and output signal is C of s, and the feedback signal is mentioned as D of s, and error signal is mentioned as E of s. Right? As given to the summing point, and we will see the what and we will see what is the output signal. Okay? So we'll take the first block, that is R of s is here. So for that R of s and the output feedback signal, that is B of s, is both comparing, and it is given as comparing result is given as error signal. Therefore, E of s is equal to R of s minus B of s. You see here, it is V of s is indicated in terms of negative part, therefore it is minus here. In case if it is a plus is there, then V of s will be also plus symbol, that is E of s is equal to R of s plus B of s. So here B of s is indicated in negative part. Okay. So that error signal is mentioned as E of s is equal to R of s minus B of s. That is given to the first transfer function, that is mentioned as G1 of s, and it gives to the second block diagram, that is G2 of s. Finally it gives us a output. From that output only we are taking a feedback part, which is mentioned as H of s, and that signal is called as feedback part signal is mentioned as B of s. Okay. So here takeoff point is nothing but it is a component of a block diagram model at which a signal can be taken directly and supplied to one or more points. Next thing, forward path. Forward path is nothing but it is a direction of signal flow from input towards the output. From the figure you can able to see that one. So forward path is indicated in forward arrow mark. So it is the direction of a signal flow from input to the output. Okay. And the feedback path, it is the direction of the signal flow from output towards the input. So that also from the figure you can able to understood the feedback path. That is, it is a direction of signal flow from the output towards the input. And next, we will see about the procedure for reduction of block diagram model. Step 1, there are 10 methods of block diagram representation is there. So, for by using that 10 representation, we are going to see procedure now. Okay, how to reduce that block diagram actually. So, step 1, reduce the cascade blocks. And step 2, reduce the parallel blocks. Next, step 3, reduce the internal feedback loops. Step 4, shift takeoff points towards right and summing point towards left. Step 5, repeat step 1 to 4 until the simple form is obtained. So, whatever may be the complex transfer function, you have to use all these steps 1 to 5 and bring your block diagram in a simple representation. Then only we can find the transfer function of the whole system. Okay, so that is mentioned in the sixth point. Find the transfer function of whole system as C of s divided by R of s. This is the procedure for reducing the block diagram of a given model. Okay. So I repeat, step 1, reduce the cascade blocks. If one or two blocks is there, you have to reduce that cascade blocks. And step 2, if you have two parallel blocks, then we have to bring the two parallel blocks in a single block. And in step 3, reduce the internal feedback loops. Whatever the feedback loop we have it, that we have to reduce in step 3. Next, if you have any takeoff point, you have to shift the takeoff point towards the right and summing point towards the left. Summing point is nothing but f, which is indicated in a plus symbol, which is already shown here in previous slide. So in step 5, you have to repeat until the block diagram represented in single form, okay, in simple form. Until you have to repeat the steps 1 to 5. Then final step is to find the transfer function of whole system. That is, transfer function is given as C of s divided by R of s. That is, output divided by input. In previously, I shown this block diagram, which is input is mentioned as R of s, which is given to the transfer function G of s, and the output is C of s. Here, this is Laplace domain, therefore it is mentioned as C of s, R of s, and G of s. In case it is a time domain, means it is mentioned as C of t, R of t, G of t. Okay, so hereafter we are going to see about Laplace transform function only, because in previously I shown for a transfer function you have to replace s. Okay, so by d by dt. Okay, in the same manner, wherever t we have in time domain, we have to replace the t by s. That is signal domain, that is Laplace function. Then only it is mentioned as a Laplace function. So by using that Laplace function, we are going to find the transfer function of our entire system. Okay. And the next thing is procedure for finding output of block diagram model with multiple inputs. So we are going to find only one single output, which is represented with various multiple inputs. Okay. So for that, step 1 is consider one input taking rest of the inputs 0. Okay, we have 2 3 input, means first step is we have to set only one input and assume remaining all input as 0 and find the output using the procedure. Okay, and second step, follow the step 1 for each input of the given block diagram model and find their corresponding output. In step 3, find the resultant output by adding all individual outputs. Right? So in step 1, you have to consider only one input. For that, you have to find output by using the above 6 steps, uh, procedure of 6 steps. And next thing, you have to use another input and remaining assume all other input as 0 and find the output. Like this, you have to find output for each and every input by assuming other input as 0, and finally you have to sum all the output, then by adding we'll get the resultant outputs. This is the block diagram. This is for multiple inputs in block diagram representation model. And here, next we are going to see about feedback characteristics of control system. First thing, we will see two classification here. One is feedback and non-feedback control system. First one is non-feedback control system. It is a control system that does not have any feedback path. It is indirectly we call it as a open loop control system. Okay. So non-feedback control system is nothing but it is a control system that does not have any feedback path. Therefore, it is called as open loop control system. And the next thing, feedback control system. It is a control system that has at least one feedback path, then it is called as closed loop control system, which means it has one at least one closed loop, therefore it is called as feedback control system. In other words, we name it as a closed loop control system also. Okay. So first diagram is the block diagram of a non-feedback control system. So from the figure you can see there is no feedback in that block diagram. Therefore, it is mentioned as a non-feedback control system. Okay. So and another diagram which is given below. Here we have a feedback path in the uh, control system. That is, our input is R of s and which is given to the transfer function g of s, and it gives the output as c of s. So from the output path, I am taking one input through feedback path which is mentioned as h of s, and it is given to the comparator, and the comparator duty is to compare R of s and feedback signal. Comparing by these two signals, it will produce the error signal. So according to that error signal, previously we have seen about the controller. That controller will eliminate the error and it gives to the process. Okay. Next, we'll see about the time domain analysis of control system. Okay. So time domain is mentioned as see wherever time is there, wherever we are analyzing the time, that signal will be represented in terms of C of t, R of t, like that. Okay. So here time response C of t is the variation of output with respect to time. Okay. So the part of time response that goes to zero after a large interval of time is called transient response. That is mentioned as CTR of T. The part of time response that remains after transient response is called as steady state response. That is mentioned as CSS of T. Okay. So by seeing the below diagram, you can able to understood the transient state as well as steady state response. Okay. So here x-axis is mentioned in terms of time domain, and y-axis is mentioned in terms of C of t and R of t. Okay. So the graph starting the starting stage is 0, so it is gradually increasing. So we'll see that signal step by step it is increasing. For that we have many signal types is also in upcoming videos we will see that response of that curve. Okay, so it starts from 0 and it goes to the peak. So at a certain period, it is it is in oscillation state. Therefore, that oscillation state we call it as a transient state. Later, it is stabling at one point. Therefore, that from that point we are mentioning as steady state state. We are mentioned as steady state. And here we have functions of time domain analysis. Okay, so first one, time domain, and also we are going to see the comparison about time domain as well as Laplace domain. Okay. So first we'll see about unit impulse, that is mentioned in time domain as del of t, and it is mentioned as 1 in Laplace domain. Next we see about unit step. It is mentioned as u of t in time domain. In Laplace domain it is mentioned as 1 by s. Next function we are going to see about ramp signal. In time domain it is mentioned as t, and in Laplace domain it is mentioned as 1 by s square. Next we are going to see about exponential decay function. That is not that much important. We will see only 4 types of signal. So next we move to the sine wave, that is sine function. In time domain it is mentioned as sine omega t, and in Laplace domain it is mentioned as omega divided by s square plus omega square. Next we see about cosine. In time domain we mention as cos omega t, and in Laplace domain it is mentioned as s divided by s square plus omega square. So by using these things we are going to see the response of the first order system. Okay. So let us assume this uh, for knowing the response of the first order system, let us assume the closed loop control system. Here that Laplace function is given as 1 divided by s of t. Okay, s into t. So the input signal is r of s, and here we have a unity negative feedback. Okay, so we are using a closed loop. That closed loop is called as unity negative feedback, and the input signal is mentioned as r of s, and output signal is mentioned as c of s. The transfer function is nothing but a Laplace domain, that is 1 divided by st. Okay. So for this, what will be the transfer function output means C of s divided by R of s is equal to G of s divided by 1 plus G of s. Here instead of G of s, we have the term 1 divided by st. We have to substitute that 1 divided by st in the above general form of our transfer function. Therefore, the final expression we got it here is C of s divided by R of s is equal to 1 divided by st whole divided by 1 plus 1 divided by st. After doing a mathematical simplification, we got the result as 1 divided by st plus 1. That 1 divided by st plus 1, we have to substitute in the above equation. We get the final step as c of s is equal to 1 divided by s of t plus 1 into r of s. In that, where c of s is the Laplace transform of the output signal. So that is mentioned as c of t here. And the next thing is r of s. R of s is the Laplace transform of the input signal r of t, and t is the time domain constant. Okay. Next, we have the steps to follow the uh, for finding the response of the first order system. First, we have to take the Laplace transform of the input signal r of t, and consider that the equation c of s is equal to 1 divided by s of t plus 1 into r of s. Next, substitute that r of s value in the above equation. Do partial fraction of c of s if required. Next, apply the inverse Laplace transform to the c of s. Next, response of our second order system. Okay, so I have to say the difference between the first order and the second order. So in the numerator term, we have another one s term is here. So if s is present, then that response of the system we call it as a second order system. So here the given transfer function is omega square n divided by s into s plus 2 del omega n. So the input is r of s and output is c of s. The transfer function block is omega square n divided by s into s plus 2 del omega n. Here also we have a unity negative feedback. So we have to general transfer function term is c of s is divided by r of s is equal to g of s whole divided by 1 plus g of s. So as for that one, we will get the g of s as omega square n whole divided by s into s plus 2 del omega n. So c of s is divided by r of s is equal to, we have to substitute the g of term in the above equation. We get the final step as omega square n whole divided by s square plus 2 del omega n s plus omega square n. Okay. So the power of s is 2 in the denominator term, hence the above transfer function of the given block diagram is mentioned as second order system. Okay. So if square term is there, then the system is said to be a second order system.